Hey guys, welcome to True Reflections. Um, Today I just want to talk about a situation where I was recently placed in, a situation where I was having a literal anxiety panic attack, where I was battling internally with myself to get out of my head. A situation where I was a fish out of water. A situation where I felt really uncomfortable. But because this was important to a friend, and me being the type of person that I am, being the type of friend that I am, I was willing to sit through it or live through it for the sake of my friend, because I wanted to show support. But when you are an introverted being and you are invited into an environment where you don't know anybody at all, for an introverted person, that can be unbelievably overwhelming. For an introverted person, it's almost as if you were cast out into open water and not knowing how to swim. And your only life jacket or your only life vest or saving raft would have been the person that invited you, would have been the person that you called your friend. They would have been your raft, your life jacket, your life vest, to help you stay afloat in the open water as you try to navigate yourself through the environment that you were placed in. Being an introvert, being placed in a situation where you don't know a living soul, is almost like you're drowning. It's almost like you're drowning and you are trying to stay afloat, but with no success. And the only way for you to stay afloat and to have a little glimmer of hope of surviving the situation that you find yourself in is if that one person that you know comes to your aid or comes to your rescue. So a friend of mine invited me to a gathering where they were the only person that I knew. And mind you, we had a brief conversation about it. We touched on it lightly. There were some concerns about how the event would have turned out. there were some apprehensions, some uncertainty prior to the event. And like I said, we touched on it lightly, but I guess we didn't discuss it effectively. But though my friends shared their concerns about me and being in a room full of people that I don't know, I instantly, in my mind, like everything about me told me not to go. Everything in me told me not to go. But this was my friend. And it was important, at least I thought it was important that I went. I thought it was important based on how they acted. I thought it was important that my presence was there. And then, me being me, I did not want to disappoint my friend. I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't want to let them down, because this event was important to them. This event was a special day for them. So against my better judgment, I went. I went to the event to show my support to my friend. Now, it's funny because my friend asked me to leave. It's funny because my friend asked me to leave because my friend, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but you ever been in a situation where you feel as though that you were the subject matter? Like you were the one being discussed. So I felt like my friend allowed their friend, a group of people that don't know me, that have not spent not 1 minute speaking to me, I felt like my friend allowed them to get in their head about me. Because my friend, when my friend came to me and asked me to leave the event that they invited me to, I was misjudged. I was misjudged because my friend came to me and said, I don't appreciate you. I don't appreciate your behavior or the way that you're acting. You're being all bougie and having an attitude and being all mean towards everybody. And I was shook. I was taken aback. Like, nobody even tried to speak to me. Nobody even approached me. Nobody in that whole event said one word to me. So how can I have an attitude towards a group of people where nobody spoke to me and nobody made an attempt to talk to me? And so I'm like, but I'm not even having an attitude, and I'm not even being mean. I'm simply just bored. Because when I got to that event, my friend who invited me basically left me to my own devices. My friend that invited me to the event, I guess, automatically assumed that because I was so comfortable around them, that I would automatically be comfortable around their friends. It doesn't work that way. Not for introverts. It's very rare for an introverted person to meet someone that they connect with, and for an introverted person to call that person their friend. And I am a person, I vibe off another person's energy. Regardless of your sex, your sexual preferences, or nationality, if your energy connects with my energy, then naturally you are going to be the person that I gravitate towards. So I got to the event, and I basically retreated into myself. I found a corner by myself. I sat there by myself, and I kept myself entertained on my phone. Granted, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Granted, my friend, within me first arriving to the event, my friend came to me a few times and was like, "Are you okay? You good?" And I said yes. I knew that I wasn't, but I said yes, because it is their event. I don't want them to feel, well, at least I didn't want them to feel a certain type of way, or to, I guess, be worried about me because I was basically dying being there. I was basically drowning just being there. I was having a mini anxiety panic attack. And my friend could not tell. But I wasn't totally surprised that they didn't notice that I was having an anxiety panic attack, because again it's their event. So they're having fun there. They're drinking and they're having fun, and mingling with my friend was in their element. So naturally, the fact that they didn't notice that I was really uncomfortable and having like the mini attacks, the fact that it went unnoticed didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me was how my friend misjudged me. And you would think, after knowing a person for a period of time, that you would know the kind of person that they are, especially considering that you and this friend have hung out in different settings before. So they are kind of aware and familiar with your behavior in certain environments, So I was very surprised of how my friend misjudged me. But I feel like they had help in their assumptions of me. You ever went to an event or to a gathering and you feel as though that you were the topic of discussion? That's how I felt, because it was well within 2 hours. I was there for a little over 2 hours, and I was just sitting by myself, entertaining myself on my phone and whatever, and nobody came to me and say, hey, I'm introduce themselves, I'm XYZ, or whatever the case is. I am a person, I'm friendly, but I will admit that I'm not friendly, if you know what I mean. I'm a person, I speak when I'm spoken to, because I'm a person, like, I can easily get embarrassed. I hate attempting to start a conversation with somebody and then to be ignored. I hate that. I hate it. And I've had that happen to me before, where, I convince myself, I say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to, attempt to get out of my shell and just attempt to, to mingle with people. And I've had instances where, like, my feelings and everything was hurt, where I attempted to start a conversation or attempted to join a conversation that was already in progress, only to be ignored and nobody acknowledged me. And I was basically just left there feeling awkward and extremely embarrassed. And I had to, slowly but surely just walk away from it. And so for an introverted person, that's hard. And to be an introverted person and to have been placed in that situation before, where you attempt to be social and only for it not to be receptive, then it is only going to make you to retreat into yourself further. And so, because I have experienced that, wherever I go, if I don't already know you, if I have never had a conversation with you before, if I am not comfortable with you, I am simply going to retreat within myself. I'm going to find a corner and I'm going to hug the wall. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean that if someone approached me and introduced themselves and say, "Hi, I'm so and so, and you are," I'm not going to be rude to them. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to have an attitude. I'm not going to display any type of negative behavior. I'm going to be very polite and very cordial, because that is the type of person that I am. I speak when I am spoken to. So here I am at this event, and I retreated into myself. I find a nice little corner and sat down by myself, out of the way, not saying anything to anybody. And it is automatically misconstrued as me being bougie, as me displaying an attitude, as me being mean. Yet on the inside, I am screaming and crying for help. Yet I'm over there in the corner by myself on my phone, scrolling through social media, having an anxiety panic attack. It's funny to me, like it's funny to me because I have been the person to invite other people to events where they don't know anybody. But you know, psychologists, they say when a person have experienced something, they tend to be that for another person. For example, a person that is always giving, or no, that's not it. A person that has never been in a position to receive anything from anybody are always the givers. You know? Or a person that cries alone in the dark because they have nobody to talk to. They do not have a shoulder to cry on. They do not have a listening ear. They tend to be that listening ear for another person. And so in an instance where I have been the one inviting guests to an event where they don't know anybody, I don't want to say that I babysit them for the whole night, because listen, if my friends are having a party and I know everybody, I am going to make sure that you know everybody too. Period. I am going to make sure that I introduce you to at least 5 different people, because I do not want you sitting in a corner by yourself being bored, because you're going to dampen my spirit, because I'm going to feel some type of way. I'm going to be like, God, damn, I brought Sally to a party and Sally don't know anybody. So because I know that Sally don't know anybody, I am going to work that room with Sally by my side. If I move left, Sally gonna move left with me. If I move right, Sally gonna move right with me. If I'm at the center, Sally is going to be at the center with me. I am going to make sure, I'm going to babysit you for the first 20 to 30 minutes of our arrival. Because that is crucial for me. That is crucial for both of us. Within the first 20, 30 minutes that I'm going to babysit you, when I invite you somewhere where you don't know anybody, by the time that I am done, you are going to know at least 5 different people. And out of the 5 different people that you know, or the 5 different people that I introduce you to, you are going to make at least 2 friends out of the 5. So if I'm sitting among my friends and you don't know my friends, you're going to be sitting right there along with me and you're going to join in the conversation. You are going to join into the conversation whether you like it or not. I'm going to include you into that conversation. I'm not going to invite you somewhere and then leave you to your own devices, especially if I know you are not a social butterfly. Especially if I know that you are not a social butterfly, I am not going to leave you to your own devices. So whilst I'm sitting among my friends and having a conversation, you are going to join into the conversation. When the conversation gets good and you start to, relax and, conversate with these people by yourself, I'm going to leave you at that table and go mingle with some other people. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to check up on you or whatever the case is. And I'm going to be like, hey, come on, let's go over there. Let's go get a drink with these group of people, And then eventually you are going to work the room yourself. And at the end of the night, you would have made at least 2 new friends. And everybody would have had a good time. But my friend wasn't a good host. My friend, knowing that I am not the type of person that approaches people. My friend, knowing that I am not the type to start conversations with people, left me to my own devices, took me out to open water, and left me to drown. And when I couldn't stay afloat, and when I was drowning, rather than be a safety net, I was misjudged and asked to leave. I was misjudged and asked to leave. And I was hurt. I was hurt because, one, I took a day off from work to be there because I wanted to be a good friend and I wanted to show support to my friend. I was hurt because I felt like my friend allowed the other people that didn't know me, that didn't know anything about me, the group of people that didn't even attempt to talk to me or introduce themselves to me, I felt like my friend allowed the group of people around him to get in their head and therefore misjudged me. I was misjudged. And I was hurt because as my friend, knowing me, and you have seen me in other settings before, should have come to my defense and say, hey, she's not like that. She just doesn't know anybody. And again, I feel like, but then again, it's not common knowledge. A lot of people, it slips their mind, or I guess they didn't know certain things. I just feel like you shouldn't have to wait. You should not have to wait for another person to tell you that, hey, if he or she doesn't know anybody, why, rather than leaving them over there by themselves, why don't you, introduce them to everybody? And I felt like after being there for over 2 hours, my friend never took the initiative to say, hey, let me work the room with you and introduce you to a few people. Oh, why don't you? Oh, come on. I'm not going to let you sit over there by yourself. Come on, come sit at my table with me and my group of friends and join into our conversation. My friend never did that. Granted, the only thing that my friend did would, I think a few times, my friend would come over and be like, hey, you okay? Why are you sitting over there yourself? Are you sure you want a drink? Or whatever the case was. And I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. I'm drowning. I'm screaming for help. And just to make sure that my friend was okay and to make sure that my friend was having a good time, the only thing I could have said was yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine. When I was not okay. I was not okay. I was drowning. Because usually, when I'm the one hosting, and I use the word hosting because if I'm the one inviting you to tag along with me, then I am technically your host. So I have to host you and make sure that you are comfortable in a setting that you are not necessarily comfortable in because you don't know anybody. So as your host, I would drag you behind me and be like, come on, let's go. And even if you put up a fight and be like, no, I'm good, or whatever the case, I'm okay here, and be like, no, come on, this is a party. We're here to have fun. We're going to have fun together. Let's go. Rather than saw it for what it was. My friend misjudged me and read it wrong and kicked me out and asked me to leave. It's crazy. If you have introverted family members, if you have introverted friends, and you see them at a function, at a gathering, whether they were invited to one, whether it's a family function, whether it's a gathering of friends, understand that as an introverted person, they are not displaying negative behaviors. They are not acting up. They are not being stuck up. They are not being bougie. They are not having attitudes. They are not being mean. Especially if an introverted person is in a situation where they don't know anybody. Please don't misjudge them. Please do not misjudge your introverted friend into automatically thinking that they are having attitudes or being mean or being rude towards your other guests. They are simply trying to stay afloat. They have simply retreated into themselves. They are present, but they are not present. They are present, but absent at the same time. If you have an introverted family member or friend, if you are dating an introverted person, be it male or female, please do not misjudge them. Rather than misjudge them, understand that even though that they are telling you that they are okay, they are drowning. They are drowning, and it's likely that they are having an anxiety panic attack in the midst of it. And please understand, if you have an introverted family member or friend, if you are dating an introverted person, if you are married to an introverted person, please understand that they can be as social as they can be, but we require breaks in between. Even in the midst of being social and mingling and interacting with everybody around us, we are going to retreat within ourselves. We are going to exit and find a quiet spot to regroup and to recharge, because it gets exhausting. It becomes draining. So rather than misjudging, please try to understand, and please try to have a little bit of patience. Because it's very hurtful and it's hard when you retreat into yourself. It's hurtful to be misjudged, and it's hard because you know that it's hard for an introverted person, because we know that when we retreat into ourselves, regardless of the setting, whether it's a setting where we don't know anybody or whether it's a setting where we do know everybody, when we retreat into ourselves, sometimes it is a struggle. We are battling ourselves internally. to make an exit point, to socialize, to stay afloat. It is not easy. It is not easy. And oftentimes, an introverted person is automatically misjudged as being stuck up. An introverted person is automatically misjudged as being mean and as being rude and having a nasty attitude. And that is not always the case. And for me, in that instance, being invited to that gathering, I was neither being bougie, I was neither being stuck up, I wasn't being mean, and I wasn't being rude. I simply did not know anyone. I simply retreated into myself. I retreated into myself, trying to calm myself down as I sat in my corner having an anxiety panic attack, only to be misjudged. Being misjudged by a group of strangers is one thing, but I was hurt and very disappointed that my friend also misjudged me so harshly when it was the furthest thing from the truth. So please, be kind. Be kind to your introverts and try to understand the anxiety that they feel when being placed in a setting where we feel like we are drowning with no safety net.